Today we're at Macorna in northern Victoria at the Gill Family Farm. Ryan, thanks very much for having us here today. Just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your operation here.
Yeah, can do. We are a family-run farm. My parents started here in 1989 and started with 160. From there we've grown up to 900 here and a grazing platform of about 1,200 hectares. We graze for about 6 months of the year and then feed silage and hay for the rest of the year as well, with concentrates with a mixer, and then through the bale in the shed as well. The cows are getting on 12 kilos of grass, 2 kilos of the Barastoc early lac, mixed with 6 kilos of grain as well. Yeah, it just helps them kick into gear.
So Ryan, before you started using the Barastoc Concentrate range, how were you managing the requirements, and what was the catalyst, I suppose, that led to you moving to the Barastoc Concentrate range?
We were a smaller herd before we started using concentrates. It was easier to manage at that stage, but then once you get to a certain size, a split calving herd, there's much larger feed requirements for the cows. Fodder prices kept going up and we needed to really utilise what we had rather than maybe having a bit extra and leaving a bit extra in the paddock. But now we really utilise the feed well, and we're able to keep track of a cow's requirements much easier, and the production and the solids just weren't as good as they are now because we had the size of cows, but we just didn't have the production results that we were chasing, so it was time to look elsewhere for something like Ridley macro.
In regards to in the pelletised form, less separation and selection, you're finding that being able to evenly distribute that per cow requirement is more attainable feeding the Barastoc Ridley concentrate?
Yeah, it's easy to measure it in the dairy. We just do a weight check once or twice a week, measure it with scales because it's per bale, and we'll be putting it in individualised feeding as well, so we'll be able to feed a varied amount if we want to, and the cows, the cows are fine to eat it. And I know they like to eat it because I've run out of grain a few times and they'll just eat the pellets just fine straight.
Can you talk to about the range of different products that Ridley supply that you utilise on the farm here?
Yeah, so we started off with the macro in the dairy, and then we decided to start all the way from the beginning. So we have the Barastoc calf muesli for a start, which the calves really like. They eat that better than the hay, actually. They really search for it, and it smells really good too. Then we also go to a calf rarer, which is when they're on milk, and then once they're off milk they switch to the Barastoc heifer developer, and then by the time they get to that calving age, we try and be calving at 550 kilos, so we really want to give them a run up, so we give them Barastoc lead up pellets as well. The heifers as well, make sure they get lead up pellets as well as the cows that are cycling back through, and then once they're in the dairy they're getting that Barastoc early lac pellet, and then once they've gone through that first transition period of 3 months, then they're into the Barastoc macro pellets.
And from time to time, depending on commodity prices and markets, you've also utilised our direct commodity services, Ridley Direct?
Yes, I have some usual grain suppliers, but when their silos are empty, I give Ridley Direct a call. Been able to source some hay at a few points when we've just been in a pinch between supply, and then as well as some grain contracts through the winter. Yeah, so I just text an order through, they organise all the logistics, and it's just one text for me.
The concentrates form one part of your diet, but how does the Barastoc concentrates complement your feeding system on farm?
We're a grazing herd for 6 months of the year, but then for 6 months of the year we're in dry lots as well. So that means we're using a mixer wagon with corn silage, veg hay, other concentrates that we use as well as grains. Then to meet some of those smaller requirements with the minerals and trace elements that can only really be met with something like Barastoc macro.
And the macro is meeting both the protein and mineral requirements, isn't it? It's just one less thing you need to do in the system. We're taking care of the protein and the mineral requirements in a neat package, I suppose, in the Barastoc concentrate pellet.
Yeah, so when you've got the Barastoc concentrate, it has that high protein that a lactating cow will need, as well as loaded with protein in a measurable form that's easy to manage.
Barastoc concentrates, we have a standard formulation range, but they are tailored to meet the requirements of dairy farmers. Ryan, can you speak to some of the, I suppose, tailored features of your pellets regarding the additives and some of the things that we tweak in your concentrate?
So we have certain levels in the concentrates of certain minerals that we have more of, because we're actually lacking that in the soil here. So we have to get to the cows in another form. So we put that in the Barastoc macro pellets as well. And then we take others out because of the feed tests that we do. We can tailor the pellets themselves to take some things out, and then if you need buffers, for instance, when you have certain types of silage, you need a buffer that needs to go in, so that can be loaded in on top. If you're having a specific health issue, sometimes you can do blood tests, and then you can add that to the pellets as well. You can add all kinds of things like amino acids if you're short, and so that the cows are actually getting more nutrients and helps their rumen development.
So as Ryan's business is evolving, we at Ridley are also evolving. We want to remain at the forefront of production, nutrition, logistical execution, and meeting the ever-changing requirements that the agricultural industries in this region are presenting.